Fire is one of the most destructive man-made disasters of all time, affecting vegetation and ecosystem in the wild, with human and material catastrophe in urban centers. Globally, fire incidents have continued to cause unquantifiable losses to public and private infrastructure, more than most natural disasters. Recent market fire incidents in Maiduguri and other parts of Borno State within a span of a few weeks had caused destruction of public infrastructure and livelihoods of thousands of traders, with cost of losses recorded in billions of naira. The frequency of the market fires and extent of destruction are too many, raising serious concern by government, critical stakeholders, and the victims in Borno sets calls for recovery from the nearly decade-and-a-half insurgency. How then can we raise the bar of fire safety standards, awareness, proactive and preventive measures? What is the state of the firefighting equipment, manpower and emergency response preparedness? This is our focus this afternoon on Panorama. From studios of NTA Maiduguri, I am Yunusa Suleiman. Banks this weekend are open for operations following a directive by the Central Bank of Nigeria. Bosade Ebel visited commercial banks in the Federal Capital Territory to monitor the level of compliance.
Okay, right now I am at Area 8 here in the FCT, where most of the banks are situated, and I've been able to go around the Abuja metropolis, and I noticed that most of the banks are complying with the CBN's directive that all banks should be open this weekend, that's Saturday and Sunday, and most of the banks are paying their customers. All the ATM spots that we've been able to visit are dispensing cash, while the banks are also paying their customers over the counter. And for the first time since this cash crunch started, I have not seen residents as happy as they are today, to the extent that most of them are asking for interview. I have Mr. Sunday here, who just made withdrawal now with me. So can you tell us the situation and how does this make you feel today?
The situation here is everything done here is organized, and we are happy, very, very happy. Like you can see, like all banks, like Union Bank now, they are working. Everybody's is organized. I just withdrew 20,000 naira.
I'm feeling fine. I really appreciated that I has money for ATM on Sterling Bank.
If this continue like this, within 2 weeks, we can see things begin to happen again. Businesses will even have life again.
We're impressed with the directives of the CBN because for the previous weeks, it has been hell.
We have heard from our respondents. Residents are very happy, and it will amaze you that everybody is organized. The place is coordinated. The place is not as rowdy as it used to be when the scarcity pressure was high. That's the situation here in Abuja. I am Bosede Abel.
Thank you, Bosede, with that update. The presidency has denounced as outrageous and condemns the fake news brigade for attributing a false code to President Muhammadu Buhari and circulating it. A statement by the senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Malam Garbasho, wondered how you vigorously campaign for somebody, vote for him and then say you won't hand over to him. He described the situation of Sahara reporters as pretty pathetic, since their ownership is politically partisan in today's politics. In fact, a loser in the presidential election. Instead of talking about issues according to him, they repeatedly sell lies in the hope that people believe them as truth. The government, Garbasho further said, is already in transition phase. The transition committee made up of representatives of the outgoing administration and the incoming one in meeting on almost daily basis, planning the handover to the Tinubu-Shetima administration. 13 committees of offshoots of the main committee, some to arrange military drills and pulling out of President Buhari, are either at work or soon to be. So far, the statement added, everything is going very well and there is no indication of any hitches. As for the President, Garba Shehu further clarified, Daura community has begun preparations to receive their son back after a successful administration of the country for 2 terms of 8 years. For his part, the President is eager to return home to enjoy his retirement. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has performed the foundation laying ceremony for National Agency for Science, Engineering, Infrastructure Solar Cells Production Plant at Gora, Nasarawa State, saying the provision of energy will transform Nigeria to a global player in the power sector in West Africa. Residents of Gora express appreciation for the gesture from the federal government. Ngusur Fiba tells us more.
National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASEMI, started with the responsibility of developing equipment necessary for job creation and national economic well-being of the country, has taken major steps by establishing solar cells production plant at Gora, Nasarawa State. Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo, while performing the foundation laying ceremony, outlined benefits embedded in the production of solar cells, among which are reduction in power shortage, affordability of solar panels, amongst others.
Given the urgency of climate action today and the importance of developing African green energy manufacturing and solutions, NASEMI's solar cell production factory in Nigeria will be a game changer in Africa.
Executive Vice Chairman of NASEMI, Professor Mohammed Sani Haruna, and other key speakers at the event expressed gratitude to the federal government.
This singular project has the capacity to positively change the energy status of Nigeria. We are launching Nigeria on the planet of solar technology. This particular project, it gives us an opportunity to further utilize, our mining potentials.
Residents of Gora who came out en masse appreciate NASEMI for the plant. The project, when completed, will serve both Nasarawa State and the entire country. From Gora, Kari local government of Nasarawa State, Nguse PV, NTA News.
The Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, says despite challenges surrounding the establishment of the national carrier, Nigeria, local and international flights will commence soon. This was at National Aviation Stakeholders Forum in Abuja. Tokpe Alabi reports.
As in the global experience, Nigeria's challenges of air travel include costs, availability of aviation fuel, safety concerns, inadequate aviation infrastructure and qualified manpower, as well as financial capacities of airlines to compete with foreign counterparts, among others. This Aviation Stakeholders Forum is to review how key regulators and players have been grappling with these operational issues towards developing optimal solutions, especially when only about 4 out of 32 airports are operating profitably. Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika says negotiations are ongoing to establish Nigeria Air soon upon the approval of the Federal Executive Council.
President Buhari has done exceptionally very well in aviation. We are very confident that we will begin to fly before we leave office. Because everything is set.
We have developed policy throws around the aviation roadmap in order to enhance safety and then also achieve efficiency.
There's no airport in Nigeria now without a major repair or reconstruction or expansion going on. Most of it concluded.
With plans to establish a national carrier and assemble aircrafts on a full-blown scale in Kaduna, expectations are that these will correctly position Nigerian aviation in its rightful place among the top echelons of the world aviation industry. In Abuja, Tokpe Alabi, NTA News.
Concerned by the reoccurrence of fire incidences across the country caused by the petroleum products, the Mainstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority has engaged oil and gas stakeholders on safety measures to arrest the ugly trend, mostly during haulage. They are executives of IPMAN, NATO and PTD, officials and members drawn from the 6 states of the Northeast. Pauline Kujevana has the details.
With tagline, Together for Safety, Collaboration for a Safer Downstream Oil and Gas Operations, Interaction also focuses on improving health, safety and environmental culture. The engagement with executives of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, Petroleum Tanker Drivers, PTD, and National Association of Road Transport Owners, NATO, was to acquaint them with techniques on safety in operations, to in turn step down to their members to be cautious against incidences that are detrimental to societal health and environment, says the Northeast Regional Coordinator, NMDPRA, Yusuf Shehu.
Call for a sound management of HS in the airports, justice, and retail outlet operations.
Facilitators from the NMDPRA, Abdullahi Abdulmumin, and Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC Mustafa Mohammed, dwelt on health, safety and environmental culture, where some of the participants expressed timeliness of the enlightenment meeting. The oil and gas stakeholders engagement was interactive, providing room for sharing of ideas on safety in the industry. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
Santa will now take a break. Panorama continues shortly.
The Council of Our Fathers.
I will urge and advise our younger generation to use talent and brain to sort out problems, not arms.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation.
My advice to these young people is do not take us back to those harrowing days.
I believe we have war to many in this country. So those who experience it will run away from it.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
Significant foul trade, fire is affecting public infrastructure, raises response for prevention yet occurrences.
We apologize for the issues in that report, and we continue Panorama here in Abuja. The Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has affirmed the election of Ademola Adeleke of the PDP as the duly elected governor of Osun State. The three-man panel of justices of the court, headed by Justice Mohammed Lawal Shaibu, gave the order in an appeal filed by Ademola Adeleke, challenging the nullification of his return as the governor of Osun State. Dele Atumbi of our Judiciary Desk reports.
Conduct of the governorship election in Osun State in July 16, 2022, INEC declared Ademola Adeleke as the winner of the election. The former governor of the state, Gboyega Oyetola, the candidate of the APC, and the party approached the Osun State Election Petition Tribunal, where their petition was determined in their favor against the respondents. Not satisfied with the verdict of the tribunal, Ademola Adeleke and the PDP on February 8, 2023 filed an appeal against the decision of the tribunal. In determining the appeal, the three-man panel of justices led by Justice Mohammed Lawal Shaibu found that the tribunal was wrong to have nullified the election of Ademola Adeleke on overvoting that was not proved. The court allowed the appeal of Ademola Adeleke as the duly elected governor of Osun State.
So the totality of the appeal presented before the Court of Appeal herein have succeeded, and the court has affirmed that Senator Ademola Adeleke remains the governor of Osun State. Today, the legal profession is richer by this judgment are delivered because it's going to be a beacon guide that will illuminate the path in the election petition tribunals that are now ongoing.
In another development, the Court of Appeal in Abuja dismissed the cross appeal of former governor of Osun State, Gboyega Oyetola. The cross appeal challenged the qualification and eligibility of the governor of Osun State, Ademola Adeleke, to contest as governor. The court maintained that allegation of forgery was a criminal matter that must be proved beyond reasonable doubt.
There are so many issues involved in this appeal. Some of the issues we won, a bit more of the issues we lost. Overall, we lost the appeal. But it's so interesting. We believe that as soon as we collect the various judgments, which are all more or less the same, by Monday, we would study the judgment and then make our decision.
In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke says the appeal court is a true reflection of the mandate given to him by the people of the state. Adeleke stated this in Ede, Osun State, shortly after the appeal court affirmed him as the governor of Osun State. Femi Afariogun has the details.
Joyful celebration at Governor Adeleke's residence at Ede, Osun State when the news of his victory at the appeal court filtered in. The governor, who described his victory as a well-deserved one, stated that the judgment reflects the expectations of the people of the state.
The voice of the people is the voice of God. The people of Osun, they've spoken. Of course, the judiciary, they are spoken to. There is no victor, no vanquished. So we should all come together and work together and make us great again, so that we can get Osun out to the promised land.
Family and some party members commended the judiciary for upholding the mandate of the people of the state.
Voted for him, they have always stood by him. And I want to tell the Osun people that they should continue to stand by him.
The victory is for the PDP and Senator Ademola Jackson Adeleke. So we don't have much to say than to thank Almighty God, because it's God that gave us this victory, not our might.
Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress candidate for the Osun governorship election, Gboyega Oyetola, in a release by his chief press secretary Ismail Omikpido, appealed to his supporters to remain calm as he has a potential ground to approach the Supreme Court. Osogbo, the state capital, remains calm after the judgment as security agents were located in strategic places within the metropolis. In Osogbo, Femi Afariogun, NTA News.
Concerned groups have continued to protest the outcome of Saturday 18th governorship election in Nasarawa and Kaduna states, alleging irregularities in the process in both states. Details of the reports were put together by correspondent Kenneth Nanim.
With the candidate Sule Audu Alhaji is hereby returned and declared the winner of the governorship election.
The incumbent governor of Nasarawa State, Abdullahi Sule, was announced winner of the Saturday 18th governorship election. But the People's Democratic Party, PDP, is opposing INEC's decision on the outcome.
PDP candidate Ombugadu was winning up to the 29-point-something minutes of the exercise. Then suddenly the results changed. In fact,
a group known as Coalition of the Aggrieved for Ombugadu is urging INEC to utilize the 7 days window provided by the Electoral Act to review the election results.
We are asking for the needful to be done.
But we are not satisfied with the pronouncement made by Professor Ishaya Tanko.
Meanwhile, a pro-democracy group, Coalition for the Restoration of Kaduna Mandate, has approached INEC over alleged irregularities in Kaduna State.
We call on the Commission to immediately commence the review of the results of the governorship elections in Kaduna State to ascertain the true winner of the election.
It is your right, to make known your grievances.
doing that peacefully. So we will submit your written paper back to the commission.
INEC, however, advised the aggrieved parties to go to court and assured them that every document needed to pursue their cases in the court of law will be made available to them. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Benue State Government has set up a transition committee following the conclusion of the governorship and state assembly elections. Governor Samuel Otom set up the committee during the Executive Council meeting at the Government House, Makurdi. Charles Abba reports.
State Governor Samuel Otom, who chaired the Executive Council meeting, stated that the setting up of the Transition Committee became necessary to ensure a clear and proper documentation preparatory to handing over to the incoming administration on May 29, 2023.
It will be expected that we work with that committee and in the next 3 weeks, the report should be ready, which will be discussed here in this council, and we'll be prepared to do a formal handover.
The Transition Committee is composed of all the Executive Council members under the chairmanship of the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Tony Ijoho, SAN, and the Director of ESCO, Bartholomew Andove Geraga, as Secretary. The committee has 3 weeks to submit its report. In Makurdi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
The advocacy to improve the quality of teaching and learning, especially in public schools, is gradually receiving the desired attention, evident by action of the FCT Universal Basic Education Board Unified Examinations to address the challenge. Aisha Ubali monitored an inspection exercise by the board to some secondary schools in the FCT.
JSS Jabi saw students trying to see they do justice to questions set by the board and mainly answering questions based on what they have been taught. But in the past, that was not the case, as students were set by their various schools. And in the wisdom of the board, how can teachers be made to up their game and keep them on their toe? This bettered the unified examination, which monitors and ensures teachers of junior secondary schools in the FCT cover their syllabus each term.
They monitor the progress of the teachers by ensuring that all the syllabus are being covered. And it has improved from our students' rating.
Introduced last session, the unified examination seems to have come to be, defining structures in some of the schools, but one observation that could not be ignored is the sitting arrangement at the examination halls in most schools, as well as the structure at JSS Kubwa.
And we believe by next time you'll see a different school structure. That's from the PTA, and we are equally liaising with the board for the areas they can equally help us.
We sitting for the process. Some of them now broke their chairs. If not, the board supplies with most 5 sets.
So by seeing this and seeing the video, how the children are writing exam, I think there will be no doubt, even from the parents.
The journey, which started from JSS Jabi to JSS Life Camp and terminated at JSS Kubwa, the board says is a continuous one until improvement in the quality of education is achieved in the FCT. In Abuja, Aisha Uba Ali, NTA News.
And now sports update.
Super Eagles head coach Joseph Pesero has assured fans to expect a better result, different from their home 1-0 defeat to Guinea-Bissau on Friday in their AFCON qualifiers at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja.
If you repeat the same, okay, you need to improve our team, of course. You cannot see one goal, one central back shoot the midfield and put one player alone against that.
They need to go back to their scoreboard and do something special. For losing today does not mean we cannot win in the next match. So we need to encourage them. Our approach to the game, tactically, we're not good enough. Approach to the game, we're poor. Decision, we should have been using the flanks effectively to open them up.
Super Eagles will on Monday next week have a chance to revenge when both teams will be in Guinea-Bissau for the return leg. Meanwhile, Nigerian Super Falcons have moved up in the latest FIFA Women ranking to first position in Africa and 42nd in the world, while African champions South Africa remain second in the continent. Morocco and Zambia maintain third and fourth place respectively. The recent performance of the 9-time African champions came in the Four-Nation Invitational Tournament in Mexico and Costa Rica. And finally to boxing, all is now set for former heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua as he prepares to face Jamie Franklin in a huge comeback fight on 1st April at the O2 Arena, London. The former heavyweight is looking to get back into title contention with a testy clash against Franklin, while Franklin is looking to catapult himself into the heavyweight picture after Joshua lost his heavyweight titles in 2020 to Alexander Usyk. With Sport Update, I am Peter Oibo, NTA News.
And that's it on Panorama today. Remember to join NTA in the campaign against rape and rapists. Thanks for your time.
For quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Drive in the rain?
It depends on the velocity of the rain.